This Inventor tutorial is going to focus on how to create the practice part as shown on the screen. You should already have Inventor open and open to a standard inch IPT. So we need to find which surface to create our sketch on, and so by looking at this part we know that most of it is created from the front face looking in this direction. So we're going to select the front face. Now this part has to be created basically in two steps. You cannot create the entire object in one step and then go from there. You have to create part of the geometry and then the rest of it. So I'm going to use my line command to draw the basic outline of what I'm going to call the back of the shape. Right, so we've drawn that. Now I'm going to add my dimensions. And so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares across the top, and so I can either type in that I know that 6 quarters is 1.5, or I can type in 6 times the little asterisk key 0.25, and that's going to make it much larger than what I have on my screen. Alright, so now I'll bring this image back up, and I want to do my height. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares tall. So I'm going to add my dimension here. And it's the same thing. 6 times 0.25. Now another shortcut that you can do if you already have that dimension on there is you can click on another dimension on your screen. You'll notice my mouse turns from an arrow to a finger. And so we'll click on that. It's pointing to it and they stay the same. Alright, and so then we have my width of the object, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares in this direction, and then there are 3 more. Right, so that's 8 squares. And 8 times 0.25, or 2 inches. Okay. Now this diagonal line here, we don't know the length of the diagonal line, but we do know the location of it. So we have 3 squares here, which is 0.75. When I'm done, I'm going to finish my sketch and extrude it. Now you can either extrude this the full 1 inch, right, 4 squares, and then cut away part of it, or you can extrude it the ½ inch and then add on. Doesn't really matter, you're going to get the same result either way. So I'm going to extrude this a ½ inch, which is half of the object, and hit enter to create that. Now on this surface here, I'll create a sketch, and I'm going to draw my diagonal line in place. Now when you draw the diagonal line, you want to make sure that this doesn't hit this green dot. That green dot is the midpoint of the line. So I'm going to exaggerate my diagonal line so that it doesn't hit the green midpoint dot there. And then we have to dimension the location. So at the top it's 2 squares away from the end. So I'm going to click on my line that I've created on the dot, as well as the dot over here, or that little endpoint, and 2 squares is 0.5. And then I'll zoom out. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares this way. So I can click on the dot there, and the dot there, and I have 5 times 0.25, or 1.25. Alright, I finished my sketch. Because I cut it, I only extrude half of it. I can bring this out the other half, which happens to be 0.5, and I click my check mark. Okay. I'm going to change my visual style so that it shows up a little bit better. I'm going to click on my View tab and then hit Shaded with Edges, and then that'll help bring those in there, and you can see what that shape looks like, right, from all the way around. And that's how you create that part.